Keep it down, Brenna.
Okay, and welcome to Stateside with me and Brenna Duncan and Mikey Famine over in the States. Brenna is in California and Mikey is in Chicago. How's everyone doing this evening? Well, this afternoon, I guess, for you lot. This morning for Brenna, I don't know. What time's it over there?
It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Just
right
about
now.
the afternoon. Well,
yeah, it's actually it's a holiday, so
oh, that's good.
So I have this entire week off.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
It's strange. It used to be because we go by school, like what the school is, and it used to be like you would have 2 Mondays in a row off, so you would have a 3-day weekend, 3-day weekend, and then they moved it to a 4-day weekend, Friday to Monday. And then, frankly, they just said, you know what, the kids are going to be gone anyway, so just take off the entire week.
Oh, fantastic!
So I have the entire week off,
Really?
and I get paid
sledding?
for 3 of those days. So
Yeah.
Instead of not only getting paid for 1 or 2 of the holidays, I get 3 holidays.
That's pretty good.
Are you going sledding?
No, see, this is
winter.
the thing. What happens
winter.
is that
sledding?
all these families go up to like Mammoth or Lake Tahoe, and then they get stuck because they come down and they're all coming back on the Sunday before school starts, and they all get trapped because there's this thing called the Grapevine before you hit LA, and it's basically
I heard
like
about that.
2-lane highway. It's like a 2-lane highway, and everybody gets trapped there. And so sometimes they don't show up because they get home at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, yeah. Fucking crack
and they
of
don't
dawn.
show up to school. So
They show up at home 5 minutes before class starts.
pretty much the kids are knocked out because they've been in a car whining all day. Welcome
No
to
snow?
Well, thank you for being on holiday
Orange
and for
County.
making it onto the show tonight, Brenna. I really appreciate it. Just want to say to everyone in the chat, hello.
Yeah, screw you, Mikey.
No snow, Brenna. You're not gonna go. You're not gonna build
Mikey's
a
here
snow
all the
pit?
time. Mikey's always here. We got Sarah Davis in the chat. We got Dark 4x4. We got Dave W. Got Power to the People. We got One Angry Pagan. Paul is in there as well. Chris C. Kim. Loads of people in tonight. If you'd like to join them in the chat, just hit that subscribe button. Hit it, well, gently stroke it, caress it, touch it, any way you please, and wait for about a minute and you'll be able to add your comments. Please don't be a troll though, because we will mute you when you'll be able to watch, but you won't be able to do anything about it. Mikey's already gone. He's just like, I'm sick of this now. I'm done. Yep. I'm completely done. Talking in the chat, a plane has crashed in the last half hour. We've got reports coming in that a plane has crashed in Toronto Pearson Airport. It flipped over, like it literally flipped over. Right, and no one's died. There were 8 injuries. Wow, Delta Airlines. I mean, bloody hell, that's something. But as soon as I saw a plane crash, I thought, oh god, not another one, because obviously in the US there's shit going down with federal employees. Apparently they're trying to get rid of 3 out of every 4 federal employees. Brenna, is that a good idea?
So as somebody in the aviation business. See my drone shot.
Yep.
And because I teach at the aviation department of my community college, we already had problems with things like air traffic control, pilots, including diversity pilots such as women, people of color.
What, you had a problem with them?
There's a problem with hiring enough of them.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I think you had a problem with them.
No, we don't have a problem
racist.
with them. We have a problem with not having them.
Right.
We have a problem with mechanics. We have a problem with maintenance. So we already had low numbers of all these individual jobs, careers. We had a problem with not just hiring them, but training them properly. So there was already a low level to begin with. And then you bring in Trump, who says that he wants to lower the size of government. Now, what he's been doing, and it's not just in the FAA, but across all these departments, especially the ones that he wants to get rid of, such as Department of Energy and Department of Education, which actually those people help our, world function.
Yes.
In a general sense, to help them function. And so he's been taking these people out of their jobs that are highly important for public safety, for transportation, for energy, including our nuclear arsenal. For some reason, he doesn't like the idea of having people watch
No,
over
that's
the nuclear arsenal. I
no,
wonder
it's fine.
why.
You just push a
I
button
wonder
and they go
why.
off.
I wonder why. So he can just start selling them off to his friends, right? He can just like grab them out of the pantry and then move them on to Russia.
Well, can't have anybody telling the news that somebody moved the nuke. Got to get them out of
Exactly.
there.
That's the thing, is that he's trying to keep all this quiet.
Mhm.
And so the fewer people that are involved in things like the Federal Aviation Department, the Transportation Department, all that, you can start doing whatever you want. And it's bad. And so, yes, having fewer people in those positions that keep us safe mean that our chances of surviving are lower.
Great. Oh, well, that's nice.
So,
talking of chances of survival. Sorry,
good
go
idea,
on.
everybody. No, no. Anyway, I think the fact that it was only a few weeks ago that he started doing the firings, and now we're seeing what now is this third or fourth major incident is alarming, because this could happen, every week we could have a major disaster like this.
Wow.
But it's okay. Kentucky did get its emergency state of emergency because they're flooding.
Why? I don't know why we should do that. I mean, we don't have money for it. We don't have money to feed
I
starving
don't
kids.
understand it. I don't
We're all on our
understand.
own.
Mikey,
California,
like-
because California's liberal, was not going to get their funding for, the massive amounts of damage that fire happened, because we're too woke. DEI, I don't know. Do we move on from woke?
No,
Mikey,
no,
do you know?
no. We've been told today that Russia and America are going to basically take over the whole of Europe to save us from the woke.
From the woke. Okay, so we're still using woke.
And
We're
democracy.
not. Oh.
Yeah, that pesky democracy thing. We've got to get rid of that.
Oh, like the
Because-
the constitutional thing. Like we
Oh,
have.
yeah,
we have
yeah,
one of the.
no, yeah.
We have. It's like they're about this big.
yeah,
just-
they're
you
getting
just
rid of
Get one
it
in your pocket.
because
I have one on my
apparently
phone.
apparently it's a bad thing. I don't know why, but apparently democracy is a worse thing than being invaded by Russia and having tens of thousands of civilians raped and murdered in the streets by Russian barbarians. What's worse than that is, was a guy, and he was just sitting, right, JT Vance said this, he was just sitting at home, right, having a pray. He was having a quiet pray. And then the thought police kicked down his door, and he was actually put on death row. We don't have the execution sentence thing in the UK, but he was definitely put on death row for just thinking about praying in his own home. That's definitely what he did.
How dare you?
He didn't.
Never again.
He didn't break any laws.
Wait a second. I've heard this story before. Is it from this?
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think he just made it up.
Why did you have
but
that?
apparently, it was one of his examples.
Why wouldn't you have that?
Mikey, it's like I have to have it.
That and the
It's kind of
Handmaid's
the
Tale.
I have to have
It's
this
kinda-
near me at all times.
It's kind of like the TV Guide. Do you guys remember TV Guide?
Yeah. So
like
you know
TV
what
Guide.
happens next.
It's
A little
wait.
It's like the
Just don't
sports
read it.
almanac.
Just don't
What
read the
time-
ending.
It's a small
What
sports
time-
almanac for the next 25 years.
What time does Seinfeld come on? And also, what's going to go bad in my government today?
Everything.
Who's gonna get
Everything.
deported this time?
So
Mikey.
basically, we've been
They can
told by Hegseth, the heavily tattooed CNN, no, CNN, what's the joke one? Fox News presenter, and President Trump and Vice President JD Vance, that actually Europe is the problem. We're the problem. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Because we're just too liberal, we're just too nice. We put people in jail for committing crimes. I mean, could you imagine that? And we shouldn't worry about being invaded by Russia. That's already invaded two countries and killed tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. We shouldn't worry about that. That's not something that we should be concerned about. It's the woke. It's the woke, Brenna. It's come to get us.
It's my problem. It's my fault. See all this? It's all these.
I like how the guy who's so autistic, quote unquote, that he has to sig heil at the fucking inauguration is the one who's talking about mind viruses.
Yes. And the guy who literally wants to put microchips into people's brains isn't the person that people worry about putting microchips inside us. That'll be Bill Gates during the COVID crisis.
He already did.
Yeah.
Graham, where were you? See, this is the problem.
Extra power.
See, you're in a completely different country.
Yeah.
You know. See, I already got my chip. I got twice.
Me too.
So.
Well,
and I got my Soros check today.
Did you?
Oh, good.
Oh, fantastic. Mine's still in the post. Been waiting for it for about 15 years now. One day.
It takes a while, but when
mine's
it comes,
on Venmo. I don't know what you guys are waiting for.
You got direct
see,
deposit.
we're in Silicon
That's how long
Valley.
ago
You
it
know,
was supposed to get it. You know, for being woke, or politically correct, or just polite, just be nice, just someone who believes in democracy.
Yeah, nice,
caring,
nice people.
How dare I care about people who aren't me? That'll let me.
Why would you?
Yeah. So yeah, it's all been a bit shit this week. Well, fucking hell, it's been a bit shit for it's all been a bit shit for a very, very long time.
About 2 years.
But it's particularly shit at the moment. And with Trump saying that he's going to level Gaza, what's left of it, and build a casino, and now he's going to do a deal with Putin over Ukraine. He's not going to invite the leaders of Ukraine. He's not going to invite the leaders of Europe along for the negotiation, but we're going to have to pay for the peacekeeping troops that are there, presumably, which is just the weirdest thing. It's like someone negotiating a new car for you. How do you think that's going to go? I got you a new car, Brenna. I've never met you before. Ta-da! I got a great deal.
I like how this just proves that the PP tape is real. This just everyone says I'm a conspiracy theorist, but this kind of vindicates me a little bit because there is no financial reason for him to help Putin with Musk in his back pocket, other than he wants to keep Putin quiet about one specific DVD that is probably playing on a TV in Putin's bedroom right now.
How hard would it be to deep fake that?
That's what I'm saying. Get on it,
yeah.
y'all.
But that's a two-edged sword, because if it does come out, you can just say it's a deep fake. Fake news. Alternative facts.
Hey, what article of furniture does JD Vance love to have sex with? Doesn't matter if it's true. It doesn't matter if it's true, Graham.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So does anyone who can do like a deep fake and has a very, very strong stomach, if they want to make the Trump PP tape come to life, then yeah. Do it.
We should have versions.
Yeah.
We should have a competition to see who can make the best PP tape.
Ooh.
I don't think
like
that
American Idol.
I don't think that it's the PP that is the problem. I think it's his PP that's the problem. Because I'm convinced he's got a micro penis.
That'll
be easy to shoot. We just put a Tic Tac on the screen.
Yeah.
just glue it on. The orange one, the little orange one.
But yeah, we had to have Trump forced us to have an emergency summit in Europe today. You know, we've got better things to be getting on. We've got our fucking lives. We've got our own countries to run. But no, Trump has to make it so that we all live in fear of our lives by you know, Putin just doing whatever the fuck he wants and being given a carte blanche to invade wherever, whenever.
Is it not so funny now that the Americans are going into shit? Now it's an everybody problem. I tried to tell everybody it was an everybody problem, and everyone acted like it was just an American problem. But this dude's a fucking idiot.
Well, that's not entirely true, is it, Mikey? Because if I talk about America online, I get loads of grief. I have people say, "Oh, shut up! You're not American. You can't talk about America. You're not American." And I'm like, no, but it affects us as well. It affects the rest of the world. I think that's something that actually it's Americans who, well, not you two, obviously, but other Americans who don't really get that.
We're the good ones.
Yeah, you're the only two good ones in a sea of fucking dickheads.
Where we heard this before. I didn't mean you.
I didn't mean you. Yeah, but I didn't vote for him. Jesus. So, just your sort of, because what I'm quite interested in talking to you two about is just like what it's like at the moment. And obviously, Mikey and I have spoken a few times over the last month, but I haven't spoken to you, Brenna, for a while. Like, what's the
I'll go
feeling
first.
like?
I'm just kidding.
Brenna, what's the
Thanks.
feeling like in California at the moment when you're talking to people? Have you, first of all, Democrats, like fellow Democrats, fellow liberals, and have you spoken to any Trump fans? Have you spoken to any like Trump fans who are now thinking that they chose poorly? To quote the knight from Indiana Jones.
So let's go to the Trump the last one that you said. You asked. No, I really don't associate with Trump people. They usually keep to themselves. Um,
They
the
smell
only
bad.
they really do. They look horrendous. Nobody wants to
They
be
don't
around
wash.
them.
They don't wash their
They
rally shirts. They
they
just smell
they
awful.
like hide in like the bushes that like anyway. No, I don't associate myself with Trump people. And I never really had, like, I had friends that were Republicans. I grew up in Orange County. Of course, I knew people who were Republicans.
Named
I knew
after
people who
Trump's
were
color.
Reagan Republicans, Bush Republicans, these particular types. And yes, we had disagreements, we would argue, but at the end of the day, we still were genial. You can't talk to like the maggots, um, as we lovingly call them, because they don't want to. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to have a conversation with you. They want to tell you what you are doing wrong and how bad you are. And that mentality, if they can't get you, they're going to run to their own Truth Social people, and they're going to be in their own bubble, which they've accused liberals of doing, right? Mikey knows this. They accuse
I am in
liberals
a
of
bubble.
be in your own bubble.
Mate, I want to be in a bubble. I would kill to be in a bubble. I would
Yeah.
love to not know what any of these knobheads thought out of their
It would be nice to
fucking
just like
arsehole
block them
that,
out of everything that you
passes
did.
for a mouth.
Because I work with people, because I work with other people. You do have, I know it's weird. I actually have a job that I have to go to.
Get them out of your
It's
out of your space.
I know. But like when you talk to them, you have a sense that they see things maybe not like I do, because I've been politically active since I was yay high. They might not understand this extreme politics. They might not see it because that's the way that normal people are. Normal people don't look at something and say, "Oh God, how is this going to affect me?" Because they don't. They're not taught that. That's not what we teach. When it comes to the Democrats, because I am part of a local Democrat club, there are very much concerns. Now, there are concerns because a lot of information is not being said, or a lot of stuff has come up recently very quickly with all these executive orders and shit that's been going on. So there's concerns about the LGBTQ plus community, the immigrant community, children with disabilities, especially in the schools, because there's a lot of things that are happening with that. So there are concerns, but there are also people that we can talk to who are in the positions in order to tell us, all right, this is what's happening. So there is a little bit more of, you have people on your side, and you being a citizen, you are a part of this community. And so we want to tell you what's going on. Like, I am very lucky to have Democrats that are in charge of my city, because then we're able to talk about, we're able to hear a lot of things, and we're able to discuss things. There's a lot less combativeness. You go to somewhere like Huntington Beach, which is entirely maggot. Like, this isn't, there's nothing good about this place. And you see basically refugees from Huntington Beach coming down and saying, please tell me that there's something good going on here. So it really does, there's not as much concern, there is concern, but it's a lot easier to actually get things done, right? Because we do have a bit more common sense people down here.
Okay, so you're not come across anyone who's seen the error of their ways yet. Still waiting on that.
Not only on TikTok, which is incredible kind of resource for these videos that are like, I'm a farmer and I voted for Trump and thought he was going to be like, he was going to keep us safe. And then all of a sudden their workers are gone, their federal funding's gone. Like, what was it? It was just Alabama who the federal funding that the state got for utilities got dropped. And they didn't realize it because the common citizen doesn't understand what's going on because they're common citizens. They do day-to-day stuff. But they weren't understanding that they got federal funding for the utilities to be at a high but reasonable price. No.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
No.
It's not the federal government. Well, I mean, it is, but it's
Yeah.
California, it's New York, it's Illinois, it's all these places that have a surplus every year. That is who's paying your electricity bill down there. So now they're getting cut off from our money. Okay, this is what your guy said. Your guy said that you don't need help from us. So
Exactly.
Kentucky, I don't know why Kentucky needs us. They went overwhelmingly for Trump. What do you need us for?
Right.
You don't need California and Illinois and New York.
Well,
Figure it out.
Alabama was one of the rare, almost completely red states. It was like 70 something percent. And there's receipts online that said their utility bill went from $200 a month to $800 a month.
Wow.
Because they didn't realize where the money came from. And that's just utilities. That has absolutely nothing to do with things like their healthcare, their education, like their children's, the funding of their children's education, things like disability, like the Disability Act. There are states suing the federal government not to hold on to disability, the disability rights, but to take them away. They say, we don't want to do this anymore. We don't want to provide families with money or care or things like keeping their jobs, keeping their education, keeping specialized equipment, specialized people in charge of this. They want to they don't want the federal government to tell them that they have to do this. They want
enough
permission.
with all those ramps. No more ramps.
Permission. They want permission to take away people's rights.
Do the people who are losing out for these benefits that they didn't actually realize were going to be taken away from them, do they care? Like I've seen a few TikTok videos myself, but like I've also seen the one of that farmer who was like, oh, all my subsidies have been taken away. I was promised all this money by the Biden administration, and now I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. And it was like, yeah, because you voted for Trump, but he doesn't blame Trump. He blames what he calls the government, because he doesn't seem to realize that Trump is the head of the government.
That's what the president does.
He's not. They consider him to be a god, basically, like above the president.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to fix everything. He's the good guy in this. That he's supposed to fix. He's the one that's supposed to take away the immigrants who are stealing your jobs or being lazy. I have no idea which one it is.
All the jobs, and they don't do anything.
They take your jobs,
but they don't show up.
But they live on welfare. I don't know. I don't know. But he's not the president to them. He's the God. He's the one in charge. There's God, there's Jesus, there's Trump, and then there's the government. He's the one that's supposed to fix it. And this is that cult mentality that we have seen grow and grow. Yeah. And the people like Elon.
That's what concerns me.
The Elon is a soldier of the leader.
Yeah, he's the Darth Vader to Trump's emperor.
Madge is the soldier of the leader. Gates is the soldier of the leader. And those are the ones that are going to take RFK Jr., soldier of the They
It's interesting
are,
that you say that, because I really do feel like Elon Musk is being set up by Trump for an almighty fall. When Trump decides to stab him in the back, which he
and
will do at
this
some
is
point,
something,
he is going to
this is,
be jettisoned.
oh yeah. So
Like,
this is
like you've
something,
just
this is
eaten a
something that,
dodgy curry.
so I think Mikey, you know, I love like cults, learning about cults and seeing what the psychology is. I'm just watching another thing on psychology of cults. It's fantastic. And one thing that happens within that cult mentality is that the leader will bring somebody up, Musk, and then have to hold the person they bring up has to hold on to that position, or may the mighty fall.
Yeah.
And that's what Trump has done to his former the Cohen, bringing he brings them up to these positions of power and wealth, and then as snap of the fingers, he doesn't know you, he's crazy,
Yeah.
he was a lunatic, he was
Elon,
crawling up, he just wanted my acceptance.
yeah. Elon Snowball Musk, for fans of Animal Farm. Yeah. Or Trotsky, I guess. But yeah, he's I don't think he's long for this world, to be honest with you. But is there going to be a point where they do put two and two together? I know that's quite a difficult sum for you average redneck, but they realize that their lives were actually better before this Trump guy got in charge. Or it's just everything is going to be blamed on. Because one thing I'll say about Hitler is he's a cunt. If I want to say another thing about him,
Oh, demonetized.
Demonetized.
That's okay. You know what? When it comes to Hitler,
Yeah,
please.
you got to drop the C-bomb.
I think Hitler would have demonetized it too, to be fair. So.
Yeah, true. But yeah, one thing is he made Germans at the time feel like they were better off than they were before the Nazis came in, which wasn't too difficult, because before they got in, obviously there was the Wall Street crash, which led to the global depression, which led to hyperinflation under the Weimar Republic. Like, things were a bit shit when the Nazis got in. But things in America aren't relatively as shit as they were in Germany back then.
I can draw the line that connects them. It's racism. When you say Germany for Germans and when you say America for Americans and Americans only, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, white people. You have a deep, deep addiction to racial segregation. And if that is the only... We'll stop the cult if we can just get them to stop being racist. They love being racist. It is their favorite fucking thing. You can go on YouTube if you like, but there's hundreds of thousands of videos of horrible racist acts just in the States. That's what they like to do. And this guy is that. He's been that since the 80s, since the 70s. His dad did that. His granddad did that. He is the American dream, a big, old, nasty, spray-painted, rich white guy.
Racist
That's
dream.
America.
Yeah.
That is America.
Yeah.
So it looks like this because that's who these people identify with. That's who they see as their God king, because he's the king of the racists. He said Obama wasn't a fucking citizen for what? Shit, he probably still saying it. So at least like 15 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you say? What else is there? Because he doesn't know anything about policy. He doesn't know how to fix the economy. He doesn't know anything about fucking lowering the cost of a goddamn thing. He added $4 trillion to the budget last time. Like, he's a DEI racist is what he is.
He's a private school mafia hire. No, but what I was talking about is the way that under the Nazis, the Germans felt like that they were better off, at least in the first few years before the war started. But with Trump, it's going to be readily apparent and shared on social media every time someone, the penny drops and people go, hang on, I'm actually a much, much worse off than I was this time last year. This time last year, I had a farm, I had a house, I had a wife, I had children. Now my wife and children are all dead from bird flu, and I'm living on the streets, on the, in this shop front, back door, whatever, dumpster, whatever you have in the States. But I mean, like, I'm assuming that most people's lives, unless you are a multi-millionaire or a billionaire, your standard, your quality of life is going to go down over the next few years in America.
I give it a month.
Okay, a month. Right. So are people going to react to that in a visceral way against Trump? Or is Trump just going to go, oh, it's not my fault. Your life would be better if it wasn't for the, and he goes down the list, trans people, foreigners, refugees, black people, brown people.
Wait till the first South African takes one of these rednecks farms. And then I will be out there with streamers and a bullhorn. I'm like, now do you want to help me storm the Capitol? You ready to Jan 6 it, boys? You ready?
So this is like, we are seeing this sort of turning on Trump Musk. They're together, they're one. But there's not going to be any action because they have been pushed down to believe that the only people that they're supposed to give action against are, as Mikey said, it is the DEI, the woke, like the people that are considered the other. They can take action against them. They can call them in the middle of, selling lemonade. They can call call the police on some black girls selling lemonade. Because that's okay.
You gotta have a permit.
That's okay for them because that's what they're doing. But if you start calling against Trump or his minions, no, that's wrong. You can't do that because you have been in a term brainwashed to believe that they are supposed to be the good guys and the bad guys look like a certain way, they act a certain way, they dress a certain way, they live in a certain part of town, they drive a certain car. Like these are the things that are bad. And then these people are good. So either you have to take action against these bad people or you can't do anything. You can tell me on TikTok how much you regret your vote. You can tell me on TikTok how much your money's gone, your job's gone, your children are losing health care, they're losing their education because you thought vouchers were the good way to go, and so you sent them to private school, and then they doubled the amount that it goes. So now you can't afford them to have the good education. You can say all those things, but unless you're doing something about it, I don't care how much you hate Donald Trump. I don't care how much you think Elon Musk is a usurper. I don't care unless you do something about it. Because your children are losing their future. And if you're not doing anything about it, you're just part of the problem.
Complicit.
You're the lazy one.
So couldn't agree more. I mean, yeah, well said. Well said. I mean, there's in the chat saying bigotry is bigotry, and Sarah saying, but they have a MAGA hat. Yes, Sarah,
and
they do.
And real quick, I want to say, comment on something Sarah said earlier. She said something. Let me forward it. Mikey, I don't see color. I see everyone as equal. I hear your sentiment. You do see color, but the problem is everyone sees color. The problem is if you have prejudiced beliefs on people of that color and then act on them, that's the problem. But it's very dismissive to people of color when they say, I'm colorblind. No, you're lying. You're not colorblind. You do see me for who I am and you don't have a problem with it. That's good. People who have a problem with it, that's bad. But no one wants to just like join this homogenous, we're all one thing holding the same. Everyone else gets to have their culture, but then people of culture have to just blend in with everybody else. No. We're us and you're you. And that's fine because we're all friends. Being friends doesn't mean we have to be the same color.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm terrible at recognizing people's faces, but I can tell if they're black or white.
Mikey, quick piece on the U-Haul flag. Where I think we talked about that Friday, but yeah, they won't be going to Cincinnati anymore. The little Nazis who were trying to hang those swastikas over the overpass over the highway.
What happened? I didn't hear about
They
this. Tell me more.
they were draping their
So
little
good.
banners and all that stuff. You know, the little neo-Nazis that just travel around from place to place. They were outside of like Disneyland World, Orlando World. Yes, Disney
Not
World.
us. No.
Yeah, the one in Florida. But they
Yeah,
were out
not
there
us.
doing the thing and pissing people off and making people uncomfortable. And then they would get kicked out and then go to this state and then get kicked out and they go to this state. Well, they tried that shit in Cincinnati and they didn't realize that they were across the street from the hood. And then the hood said, "Hey man, we got some beep 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 Nazis out here, yo. Let me." They just started coming up out of the house, about 10 of them. And then, and of course, the police showed up. Like, oh, please think about it. Please think about it. And I was like, yo, they finna die. These dudes about to get dead. So they piled into their little U-Haul as fast as they could and hightailed it out of there. Because this is the thing with racists. They're cowards. When they're actually gonna like, if they wanted to like promote their white supremacist thing, and these people were threatening their white, they had guns on them. They still got in the thing and ran
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why
because
the
they're
KKK wear
cowards.
hoods, don't they? I mean, it's not very brave, is it?
Oh yeah, and they all had
I
the
don't want to
ski
lose my
masks.
job. I
Yeah.
want to be a
They all,
massive racist, but I've got a good job in the bank.
they all had
Right.
yeah, they might be president. They all had their little like pullover ski mask things on and like the other mat and like bandanas and stuff like that. I'm like, and these are the same assholes that they couldn't be bothered to put on a damn COVID mask. But now since they want to go
Yes.
out there and do white
Right.
supremacy, now they're covering their face with every other. It's
Well,
so stupid.
facial recognition everywhere, right, Mikey?
Hmm. I'm ready because I hope they
Hmm.
try. I hope they try that shit around here. Because as soon as that U-Haul runs away from the thing, I will be following that U-Haul, and I'm gonna keep following that U-Haul, and I'm gonna
But
keep following that
isn't
U-Haul, and
like
then I'm gonna take pictures of
downtown,
all them license plates, and then we'll see what's up.
isn't Chicago one of those places that Trump has lauded as being like the bastion of criminality and murder and where the
Oh, you make me
guns are all
blush.
going? Like you're ready. I mean, you guys
Come
are
get us.
you're on the top of the list, and I'd be shocked if nobody tried that shit in Chicago. In
There,
LA, that's where half of us are burnt down, so it's like we're kind of useless right now.
it could be the
Um,
Chinese, the Japanese, the Indians, the Mexicans, the whites, the Polish, the Italian. There's a whole bunch of people up here in Chicago, and we don't
mhm,
do bullies. We
mhm.
don't do bullies around here. Bullies get dealt with. So they might get jumped by several different races of people. Puerto Ricans and the Haitians. I forgot about y'all.
And don't forget your
So,
long history of mobs. I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about. No
you're like,
mobs.
we don't have any mobs.
I plead the fifth.
Only Al Capone and all I know.
Did he
Uh,
live here? Oh,
Yes,
I
he went to
didn't.
Chicago.
Oh, did he?
Did you read history?
I thought that. Oh, I guess that is Chicago. Oh.
Brenna, you just touched on something that I wanted to ask you about.
Ooh.
How's the cleanup going? I mean, have you been around some of the areas that have been burned?
Well, the areas that were affected are pretty far away from me, so it's
Right.
not that something that I go to. There hasn't really been much when it comes to seeing the cleanup. I mean, it's still, as far as I know, when it comes to these disasters that we have gone through, it still takes a long time to even get ready to rebuild. Um, Considering how much like the insurance companies take a long time to pay out, so there are still people who are without, a residence. There have been laws passed to not kick people out of if there are fire refugees. They are not allowed to be kicked out of any residence that they have. So there are certain laws about how many people you can have in a household. So if you're taking in a fire refugee, you cannot be cited. Um, so there are things that are still there. They're being protected right now. What I have no idea about the actual cleanup
Right.
that's going on. Probably won't for a while.
Right.
We still have rains that are coming in. We're still in our winter weather right now.
Was your
Stop.
family okay with your friends? I mean, do you know anyone
Um,
who's
I did have a friend who lost their house. Him and his
Jesus?
roommates lost their house, and he had a GoFundMe, and it really did fund a lot. Because the insurance is not going to pay out for a while,
Right.
so it was, it's enough to be able to find a place to stay, to replace a lot of the things that were lost. Um, because this guy is a producer
Yeah.
for shows like The Big Bang Theory, like popular shows, and his residence is now gone. All that
Jesus.
work is gone,
Yeah.
and and then there are more people out there who are looking for GoFundMe. So, if you can, anybody out there, a few bucks to somebody is going to make their day,
Yeah.
because we're still in recovery. And if Trump had his way, he would stop all funding. So you never know when he's going to pull out some of that funding.
Well, I had a friend in California who, if was still living in California, his house probably would have
Oh,
been. But he moved last year. He moved to West North Carolina,
oh wow.
and he lost his house in the storm a few months ago. That was when
Wow.
the hurricane went all the way up to the top of North Carolina, for Christ's sake. There's just no escape. There's no
I mean,
escape.
I still have an uncle in Oklahoma who, during the tornadoes that went through, he's still rebuilding his farm from that. But he
Christ.
says, I mean, they're saying that, like, them working with FEMA has been fine. Like, they've had no qualms with FEMA if you keep talking to them. And this is what the people in South Carolina were complaining
No,
about.
no.
And it's
I
because what
heard
happened was that
FEMA
they
put people.
stopped.
I
They
thought FEMA were terrible, and they put little children in cages or something.
what happened? No, that's Trump.
Oh, okay.
Um, no, no.
I think I'm mixed up.
What happened with South Carolina really is that the FEMA was starting to give money out to people, and then people stopped talking to them. They stopped calling them. They stopped filling out the paperwork, and then they started complaining that they weren't getting any money from FEMA. And FEMA's like, look, here, here's a form.
Yeah.
We need your name and your address, and we'll give you
Well,
money.
I
And then they
mean,
stop because you can't take federal funding, right? Because you're a Republican, you're a
yeah.
red state, and you're not taking federal funding. And then they realize that all their federal funding is being taken away from them.
So,
There
what's
you go.
gonna you touched on something a little just a little bit earlier when you talked about education. When you said that if you send your kids to private school and you get like a voucher thing, because
Mhm.
there's nothing to stop the private schools once there's no competition because the Department of Education's been shut down from just doubling the fees, right?
Yeah. So, the way that, like, vouchers, what is vouchers supposed to do? So what vouchers are, you go to your public school, you say, I don't think this is a good fit for my child. I need money to send them to the private school. I don't have the money to pay for private education, but you can. So you take that money, which comes from property taxes, um, and you take that money and you go to the private school, and they're supposed to exchange it for an education. It's a tuition.
Right.
Now, what happens is that because private schools are unregulated,
Yeah.
because they're private schools.
They'll teach
Yes.
you anything.
And they can employ anyone in this country. You can
They
just
can
get
do
someone off
whatever
the
they want.
streets,
They
just been
can
released
literally
from
do whatever they
prison for
want.
abusing children, just straight into the private
You
school.
give them what,
Gym teacher.
$5,000. You give them $5,000 in the voucher, saying, here, I'm paying for my child's education. You go, actually, it's not 5,000 anymore, it's 10,000.
Mm,
So now you have to make up the difference of that $5,000.
right. Okay. So
And-
that's
So
definitely
now,
wrong.
because they can jack up the prices whatever they want.
Yeah.
And
And
they're unregulated.
and the best part is for like inner cities and some highly urban areas to get people into those schools because there's so many people that want to go to that school, they have a lottery. So, pick a number, hope it's lucky. Either you're going to get a great education or a shitty education.
Or
May
no
the odds
education.
forever may the odds forever be in your favor.
Well,
So-
and then there comes the rub, right? Now all these people that are lower class are now getting into these private schools. So what do they have
DEI.
to do? Hold them out and homeschool them.
Yeah.
And then you get the religious homeschool.
Yeah.
And so now they're indoctrinated, and now they try to get a really decent education after that, and then they're sad because the white kids are not getting into Harvard anymore. And so there goes,
Because you raised them on PragerU videos.
because they're not intelligent enough, but they're white, right?
I
They're
gotta
white
be
and
able to get in.
wealthy.
Well, they
So
might
Be
be
then
smarter
they
than
have
that
to
guy.
They might have been intelligent enough if they had been allowed to go to school, but they've been homeschooled by a pair of idiots with arrogant sort of, delusions of grandeur, thinking that they would be the best teachers because of all the stuff that they know, that Fox News told them.
Mhm.
Because that's
And then
really
they wonder why
Christ.
they couldn't get in the top edge. Like black women are the highest educated demographic in America right now.
Wow.
They are so
Mhm.
salty about it.
Yeah.
They are so
But that
salty.
doesn't come as any surprise because of what Brenna was just saying is like they're trying to shut down schools left, right, and centre so that the parents have to teach the kids. And like honestly, if you got the time to teach your kids properly, then you're obviously born into money or something because what do you not work?
Trad. It's the trad wife.
Trad wife thing.
The trad
these
wife
people-
trend that's going on is
these-
now the trad wife, this woman who has no say in her life now is stuck taking care of kids, and because sending them to a school so they can be indoctrinated with pronouns, they can't do that anymore. That's wrong.
You can't
That's
do
against
that to them.
the poor
Them.
children. They
Yeah,
cannot
to them.
them
or her.
Or
Or
him.
him.
Yeah,
or
her.
him or them or they or she. You can't the pronouns. Oh no.
Well, that's
The
what
pronouns.
that's what JD Vance has
emotional.
come to rescue. He flew all the way over to Europe to rescue us from the pronouns. We were like, no, we've got a problem with the Russians, mate. Pronouns.
Yeah. They're not the same.
That's code for Russian.
No, it's not.
What
It's
if
just
all of this
code
was
for
an elaborate
bullshit.
ruse to lower Vladimir Putin's defenses, and Trump's gonna fist fight him and reverse all of this bull? I mean, like,
I'm
these
sorry, but
people-
Putin's gonna win that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Putin
Trump-
would fucking
Trump-
clean his
Trump
clock.
can't stand up straight.
It would be hard.
Got a
It would be
diaper full of
hard.
shit.
Like,
it
he
it
can't
would be
stand up
very
shit.
hard for Trump to fight Elon, not Musk. What's his name? Putin. Just because when you're on your knees, it's really hard to get a good right hook in.
Yeah, he's not gonna be able to hit him in the face. That's for sure.
No,
Not
when
not
you're
from
on your
down there.
knees.
No.
Yeah, not
Oh
from
no,
down
it's
there.
Putin. I better go to my knees. Is it a little bit humiliating for you as Americans that America has been defeated in the Cold War in such a way by having this president who will just do anything for his beautiful Vlad?
See, we're not gonna know that because we're America and we're exceptional. And so we
Okay.
didn't lose the war. We just
Well,
didn't
you won it for a
didn't
bit.
allow them
Yeah.
to lose. We were generous.
Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah.
we're America.
Yeah. You lost Vietnam as well.
No.
I'm just saying. You
No.
totally did.
Even the
we
Canadians
didn't.
were like, "Hey, yo, bring it back home, yo. Come on." That's it. Come on
Shh,
back.
we don't talk about Canadians.
We better. We just crashed a plane over there.
You flipped the plane
Golly.
over like a pancake, you crazy
Hey,
bastards.
Mikey, how else are we supposed to add them to the 51st state
Listen,
if we don't just start throwing shit at them?
I can't hear what you're saying, Brenna. I'm in the 6th province. I'm trying to flip it. Hey, Canada, let's make a deal.
Hello.
Canada,
Hello,
let's make a-
California.
Let's make a deal. I mean, we got this great Lake Illinois right over there. That's great. Everybody
Like
loves it.
California just sounds way better.
You're not getting
It's
the lake.
bigger.
Lake Canada, you mean? You mean Lake Canada?
No, it's
Lake
it's
Ottawa.
cool. We're part of them, so it's cool. It could stay Illinois. But Brenna, if we gave you a lake, you just set it on fire.
No, I keep telling you that's Ohio.
Yeah, with the
Read the news. No,
The
what we
pollution.
do with our lakes is we drain them dry.
So you
get
can't
it?
have this one. This is a big one. It might take you weeks to drain it, but you'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, please, we're already draining it. You just don't know.
GD Bottle's
But as-
pointing out in the chat that future American education will all be Bible-based, English, numbers, history, and geography all included. That's a very good point. You know, which is worrying because everything that happens in the Bible takes place in about a 10 square mile area. So yeah, good luck knowing where the rest of the world is. But then again, I mean, you know, America looks at the Mercator projection, or Trump looks at the Mercator projection and goes, oh my God, look at the size of Greenland. It's massive.
I must
I'll
have
that.
it.
I must have it. Must have it.
I must have it for my own.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't I be the king of Greenland?
But see, then Denmark comes over and is signing petitions to add California to Denmark.
Stop.
So look,
you can't leave. You can't leave.
Look,
we can't leave.
see
We're
this
going
is the
first.
importance of California. I mean, not to be serious about it. This is the importance of of California. We are such a major part of the United States economy that if somebody's going to pretend to add us like Denmark or Canada, it is meaningful, because that means that if you lose California, you lose 90% of your economy because of how diverse our economy is.
I'm all about just getting in some corporate sponsorships from other nations. Like, hey, UK wants to, like, you know, have Illinois for like a 2-month or like a 2-year contract. You know what I'm saying? We'll just throw up some Union Jacks, and then I don't know, maybe Italy wants a turn, and then they want to give it a shot. Like, I'm cool with that. But if he thinks he's gonna come in here and start ruling everybody, and that's the problem with his little stupid plan, he's gonna go hungry before he can fucking oppress everybody, because he's touching the wrong wires.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things you can do if you want to be a dictator. The first thing you don't do is starve everybody by getting rid of the workforce that puts the food in the ground and that takes the food out of the ground. That's the 1st thing you don't do. So good luck with your coup, sir. It's not going to work when everyone's starving to death. They're not going to listen. And you don't have any food to entice them to be back on your side.
Yeah.
Well, he has to control it, and he's not good at controlling anything. So he can't control the food source.
Okay.
Because he's really bad at it.
Can you just tell me a little bit about these elections that come up? You got some special elections, 3 of them, and if the Democrats win all 3, they take control of the House of Representatives. Is that correct? Am I right in thinking that?
Union flag not jack. Sorry, Scott.
The Union Jack is when it's out at sea.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Have you never watched Doctor Who before?
It's only a jack when it's thrown from a jack staff.
Okay, because there's a great episode in which Rose was not wearing that was another one, but there were Union flags up, and the owner said that they were Union Jacks, and she's like, "Are you stupid? Because it's the Union flag, not the Union Jack." And then she makes fun of him. It's a really, really great episode.
So I was in that episode.
I like going around Glastonbury and telling people who have got a Union flag upside down that it's upside down, because they don't know.
It's such a
There's a top.
I go over and say,
"It's so good."
Hello, El Chap. Are you in distress? And they're like, "What? Are you in distress?" And they're like, "No."
Yes.
Well, why are you flying your flag upside down? And I walk off.
It's so good.
How do you know if it's upside down?
Because if you in the top left-hand corner, basically there should be more white above the red stripe and the diagonal. If there's less white above than below, then it's upside down. That's the way I can usually tell, because it's not. You can't redirect it. It's not omnidirectional.
Well, they got it like curved in some of these images I found, so I'm like,
yeah,
I guess I can kind of see, because it's like in like that bullshit waving.
It should be the side that's closest to the flag staff. So sometimes if the flag staff's on the other side, it can look upside down when it's not. But it's Anyway, I was asking about these elections. What's happening with these elections? Can someone just fill me in a little bit more information?
I don't know. You tell me. What elections?
The only thing that I heard is that they're not going to be that big of a problem, because people are chosen specifically because of what their replacement can do. So a lot of these places, I think at least 2 out of 3 of these places are full red,
All right.
full
So
Republican.
they're not going to change.
So you can spend as much money as you,
here we
but you
go.
can't change them.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I believe so. I
Alright.
believe that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, I didn't know much about it. I didn't know who was having these extra elections.
So when a president picks their cabinet or to fill these, they specifically look for very specific places where replacing that person is not going to be a hassle. It's not going to change the dynamic.
Mathematics, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people will be chosen based on so a lot of senators they come from red states because they get appointed by their governor. And so if your governor is a Republican, you're going to be filling the person that they're going to fill that seat is going to be a Republican. So there's a lot of strategy that goes on, and he has the people that are strategizing. These people are good because they understand this.
Well, they're not good people. You mean they're good?
No. I mean, they're good at what they're supposed to
they're
do.
Evil. They're good at their jobs. Yeah.
They're evil because they know how to do their job.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Indeed. So
is it Iowa and South Carolina?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's because I went to Ballotpedia.
Columbus.
They give you all. They give you all of your excellent election
Iowa.
news.
Sorry, did you say Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, Des Moines.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Des Moines.
Des Moines. Yeah, Des Moines.
Oh, two silent S's. Two.
Des Moines. Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Is that by Arkansas?
Jesus. As soon as you take
South
one step.
Carolina is Columbia. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina's capital's Columbia. Anyway, just one question because we're going to have to wrap up soon. It's now 10 o'clock. Greenwich Mean Time. What sort of? I don't want to look too far into the future, but what do you see happening? Let's start with Brenna. What do you see happening over the next few months in America if Trump keeps doing these proclamations and lunacy at the speed that he's doing it? What can you see happening? What's your sort of
more destruction. I think we're going to see a lot of the institutions that have kept us safe and kept us going are going to start breaking down. And it may not be so dramatic. Like, he's not going to take away the Department of Energy in one foul swoop. He's going to break it down into its very small components. We are going to see a bit more Musk hate, and I think it's justified. And you could see Trump starting to turn on that. I don't think it's going to be as dramatic I think it's going to be a longer term thing that we're going to see a lot. We're going to see a bit more resistance or a bit more less Trumpiness. I think there's going to be a little less of that showing up. But I can't predict the future. My hope is that one day the whole world will wake up and realize that this is very dangerous and it needs to be stopped. And they're actually going to do something about it.
I thought you said the whole world will wake up and realize it was all a horrible nightmare.
It is, but it's a living nightmare.
And then we can get on with our lives, So, Mikey, what can you see happening over the next few months? Let's just take it to like halfway through the year. You're on mute, I think, Mikey. I can't hear you.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was typing and my keyboard is ridiculous. It's so loud.
Clackety clack.
Yeah, it is so clacky and I love it. It looks like a typewriter. See?
It's so cool.
So cool.
I love it.
But it's terrible for audio. So
good, you're in the audio business.
it's February, so we got the last little bit of winter, and then March, the rains are gonna come, April, the rains are going to come and the ground's going to warm up. Who's going to put the food in the ground? That, like, it's so simple, but he's so stupid that he doesn't understand what, like, again, he's pissing on the wrong rail. Like, he's messing up things he can't fix. No one can fix. It's going to break. If you fuck up our food supply, you are not going to stay popular, buddy, because there is no Democrats as far as the eye can see. And I think the next piece for the Bin podcast, subscribe to the Bin podcast, at least, is that we are going to make sure that as many MAGA people as possible understand this very important fact. The Republicans have the House, the Senate, the judiciary, and the presidency. Why is Elon Musk going through everything by himself if you guys have all of the tools necessary to trim bills that the House and the Senate and the president has already passed and that the courts have deemed as legal? Why don't you just do the regular way? You already have the majority for everything. It's because they don't want people to know that they're taking your Social Security, they're going after Medicare and Medicaid, they're going after the Department of Education, and they're going after the farmers. So you can't attack all those things and expect to still have a country. So when the crops don't go in the ground, and when people lose their farms, and when all those things, that they have to see it for themselves, because they won't believe me if I predict it. They say I'm grandstanding and I'm making things up and I'm being hyperbolic. Okay, I'm making it up. Let's just wait and see, shall we? Like I was arguing with some kid and he's like, oh, Elon's saving all the waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm like, so where's the money going? Well, back into the government. Do you know that? Who knows that? Who knows now? Because they fired all the people that know.
Yeah.
So go ahead, rob the treasury. Go ahead and rob the treasury. Then what? You know what I mean? Like, then what is your step next? You're going to get rid of all the Americans? All of them that don't listen to you? Even if they listen to you, they can't eat. You fucked up the farms, mate. You fucked up the power grid. You fucked up the nuclear deterrent. You're fucking it all up.
We can't travel anymore. We
Well,
don't have
I'ma drive.
we don't have safe air.
drive
No,
safe
we're not. You're
airplanes.
not going to, because you're not going to have a Tesla. And
Yeah.
the only people that are going to be allowed on the road are people with Teslas.
But
Like they're going to start controlling everything about us.
But can't robots just be the farmers? Like, can't you just have a load of autonomous vehicles operated by Musk's Starlink satellites, some like Tesla tractors, and they can go out and they can plant all the crops and they can harvest the fields, they can pick the fruit.
Oh, and I got one more thing. Fuck Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They went after the University of Illinois, ILLINI. Woo-hoo. Went after U of I's soybean lab. So with all the, like, there are soybean fields, like I could probably throw a baseball and hit one from my backyard right now. Like, they are all over Illinois. We grow food that goes to Asia, goes to Europe. It goes everywhere. South America. Like, we grow shit here. Corn, everything. We grow shit here, just like Iowa. Keep fucking around.
Where's that going to
Fucking
go
around.
when the tariffs that the other countries are going to levy on us? Where's that going to go?
He ain't thinking long term. He ain't thinking long term.
He doesn't have anybody. He doesn't have anybody to plant them. He doesn't have anybody to pick them. He doesn't have anybody to take them anywhere. He doesn't have places to take anywhere. They're just going to rot, and then we're going to be the ones that are going to be suffering from this. And he's going to be okay with that.
Oh,
Yeah, but
because
I don't
we're
think
not
so.
rich.
I don't.
That's the
But I don't.
that's
You
the rule.
you can do some things to some, like, what is that Ringling Brothers thing? Like, you can fool some of the people some of the time.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't tell them that they're not hungry. And if I keep, radicalizing these MAGAs to, like, turn against you, I mean, that's my First Amendment right. It's not my fault I got them all juiced up and angry at you, and now they're just out here with no police or CIA or FBI agents to slow them down. That could be a real tragedy.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I guess we will see what happens, Trump. You think you got it all figured out? You don't have the foggiest, mate. It's about to turn.
It's gonna get real.
It's about to get really real.
Well, they say that every civilization is just a few meals of missed meals away from anarchy. So, yeah. Anyway,
they're gonna be in them.
But you gotta do something. The thing is that you can't just go online and say, "I regret my vote." You have to do something.
Yeah.
Because people are suffering. Children are going to be dying.
That's what you need to do. Something drastic.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Not the people who didn't vote for Trump. We're safe, okay? The people who voted for Trump.
You're not here in America, Graham.
Yeah, I know. Thank fuck.
100. I think it was 1,000 veteran affairs workers in Georgia were fired.
Yes.
And that is what we need to put around Marjorie Taylor Greene's neck and say, "Good job, dumbass." And you just plaster her with it 24 fucking 7. Remind her, I love the veterans, everything for the veteran. Well, why'd you let Elon fire all of them? Why'd you let Elon fire their what's it called? Their therapists and their physical therapists and their doctors and their pharmacists? Why'd you let them fire them? If you love them so much, why wouldn't you get in the way and protect them? Yeah. Right. Because you're a bitch. And you're a cuck. And if you're not a bitch, you're a cuck.
I thought you said something else there, much worse, which would have got me demonetized, but I think I did that earlier when I was referring to Hitler. Anyway.
Again, you're supposed to.
Brenna, Mikey, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Paul mentioned I should do fun with flags. Well, funny you should mention that, Paul, because I'm bringing back an old show from a few years ago that I used to do called Hughes of the World. And I'm going to be continuing on from where I left off. I made 40 of these shows where I talked about a different country each week in alphabetical order for an hour live. I talked about the history of the place, the politics, what's going on there at the moment, and my experiences there, and sometimes shared a bit of video footage from when I was there as well. So that's going to be starting again on Thursday at 6 o'clock. So we will have some fun with flags.
Gave up on GeoGuessr, huh?
No. Oh my God! Did you see the Panama GeoGuessr?
I have to sleep sometimes.
Oh, I'll have to send you the clip. 30 seconds, mate. I'm on a road. I turn around. I look up. I see the Bridge of the Americas, and I went. I know exactly where I am. Zoomed into Panama. Zoomed into Panama City. Zoomed into the correct road in Panama City, and went boom. Got it.
Wouldn't it be crazy if they put it on Ginger Island?
I don't think the Google car's been to Ginger Island on a Google boat.
Just imagine if you looked and you saw your hut there and you're like, what? Oh God, they know.
They know. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
There's Graham in his hat with some beer, just like sitting back, and then just like, this camera comes by.
If anybody in the chat, if you're on a fucking like the Google camera somewhere, you got to let us know, because we want to like.
There was a guy in Mexico who basically had his willy out on the Google camera. Like I was playing it, and I was like, that guy is just standing there, like just with his pants slightly down, and it was fuzzed out, but it
was pleasuring him.
Anyway, thanks so much, Brenna and Mikey. Thank you for watching. I'll be back in the morning with Morning Brew at 9 o'clock sharp. Well, not that sharp, maybe a little bit blunt, but I will be back. So please join us for that. Give what's it called? A like. Give us a like on the way out. I always forget to say that. And until next time, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Subscribe to the BAM Podcast.
Subscribe.